Hey scribes, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about staying creatively motivated. Now, just as you've guessed it by the title of this video, I want to talk a lot more about the things that we can do to keep that motivation up. And since motivation is a very big part of the foundation of writing, I want to make sure I get you some really good pointers. That way you know what works for me and possibly what could work for you. Knowledge, mentality, and hard work. These are the foundations of a great writer. Now, before we dive in, if you don't know me, I'm Pika Lee, and I welcome you to my channel all about how to create the perfect writing foundation out of the right mindset, your hard work, and the knowledge that we give you to do what you do best. Right. So hit that like button, subscribe, and get settled in so we can talk about staying creatively motivated. The first thing that I want to talk about is finding your schedule style. Now that means daily schedules, weekly schedules, plan days, make sure to take days off, and basically if you feel like you're about to burn out, that's a big indicator that you need to revise your schedule. It's not working for you. Now currently I use this ink and bolt planner and it is for the whole year, and basically I go through my weekly tasks and I write them in the calendar, which goes week by week. Now there is a bigger layout which does have the whole month and I can kind of plan ahead if I'd like, but right now I'm pretty good with weekly because that fits my schedule style. Now for my schedule style, because I do work a full-time job and I've got many projects that I'm always working on, I tend to schedule very roughly, very differently weekly by week. And usually I do this on Sunday, which suits me the best. So on Sunday night, even though I do work, once I'm out of work, I go ahead and I start to plan in that ink and bolt planner that you saw. And that's how I kind of do a little bit more of a revisal of my schedule week by week. Now this again suits my style, it may not suit yours, so I definitely suggest you go ahead and you try it out. And the other way that I do tend to actually plan my week is I have these printable free sheets that you can find by just simply typing it in on Google, free monthly printable sheets, or you can go on Pinterest, which is where I found mine, and there are loads of places where you can go ahead and download for the entire year. And usually what I do is I do print for the entire year and I go month by month, and that's how I plan my videos, but also how I plan my writing so that I can fit it in with my YouTube videos. So that's how I typically do structure myself, and that's just my productivity style, and that's how it gets me motivated and it keeps me on task. And this next tip is something that I use often, and I've probably already said it a few times right now, but revise, revise, revise. Revise your goals, revise your schedule, revise your mental plan of attack. Now in that book, Ink and Bolt's book that does the yearly planning, it does have a lot of these prompts for me to go ahead and do some free writing and write in some of my goals for the beginning of the year. I actually do this now quarterly, so now I split up my goals into quarters, and that just means every 3 months. And so that's a little bit more how I tend to stay on track with myself. And it took me a few tries to revise and do this to make sure I'm doing what suits me and what fits, helping me get my goals done, because now I can see the plan. So if I see the plan, I can now revise. If there's something that comes up, like suddenly my friends want to do boba on a specific day, I can now go into my planner and on my worksheet and see, okay, well I do have to have a video done by this day, or I've got to have maybe the first 4 chapters written by this week, and how can I speed that up or adjust that so that I get more words in on another day, or I get the video out earlier. That way I can make those cool, fun events and still have time to really enjoy myself. I've learned that if I can revise my script, or I can revise my story or my novel, then why can't I just revise weekly my schedule. Why do I have to be on the same schedule every time if that doesn't work for me? I'm not sure how regular you should do it. I do review how I'm feeling about that schedule as well. I kind of check in with myself a little bit mentally to make sure that it's not overloading me or impacting me, because what happens is if I do that, I will start to feel it. I'll start to slack on wanting to write, and I'll start to slack on wanting to even get out maybe a video or two. And that's because something's not working for me. Now, another thing that I highly recommend is rewarding yourself. So again, I was mentioning that my lifestyle can get pretty hectic sometimes, and if I don't schedule enough time for myself to just be one with the Netflix, I will start to get really burnt out, and then my mindset is not fresh and my positivity starts to dip, and then I'm not happy. I'm just not a happy person at all. And what happens is my writing suffers. Now, if you want to write professionally in the future, this is something that you have to be very good with, which is maintaining your schedule, revising your goals, and making sure your progress is happening on track, because you are going to have deadlines. And if you're going to become a writer, you will become a freelancer, which means you are your own boss. Even if you've got a company that is working with you, you are still the boss. You are the person who needs to create and keeping those ideas fresh. And to do that, you need to make sure that you yourself are happy and taken care of. You need to make sure you take care of the self-care aspect of your mentality and your body physically. And you need to do pretty regularly to make sure that you are not all work and no play, because you will burn out. And I don't want that for you. No one wants that for you. We want to read your stuff, and you better not be burning yourself out so I can read that stuff. Create a community. So this keeps your mindset super healthy, and it makes you feel like you're not alone. So you don't want to ever feel like you're isolating yourself. I know people think that writers are just like completely isolating people, introverts, but the real of it is that we actually need people so very much. So make sure to have a really strong support system and a support group, and having a writing community is something I highly recommend. And I think I've probably mentioned it a few times already, and that's because I used to be super scared of them. I used to have such an insecurity of putting my work out there, and what ended up happening was I didn't create a community for myself, and I had no one to identify with. And that's pretty sad in a way. I had no one to talk about writing with, and no one to keep my mindset eyes on the prize and ready to go. So remember that mindset is pretty much a foundation of writing. You need this to be super healthy and happy for your process and creativity to be happy and healthy. So another thing is staying consistent. That means keeping the momentum going. It's really easy for you to slow down. If you're not really propelling yourself forward and staying really consistent, you start to lose that velocity. I think I said that right. I'm not quite sure. But basically, it's like a car. If you're gonna keep pushing on that pedal consistently, you're gonna keep a great speed up. If you're letting go of that pedal, what happens? Your car is gonna slow down. And then what happens? Your car isn't really motivated to go anywhere, because no one's giving it the motivation that it needs, or the real push that it needs, the literal push, if you get it. But basically, you know what I mean. The car analogy is kind of weird, but it works, because that's exactly how your brain is working. If you are constantly creating, you're constantly pushing down on that pedal in the brain saying, go, go, go. I want more creativity, and it keeps it flowing. It keeps it going either at the same speed, or it keeps it coming at a faster pace, because you are now actively working that muscle. You're actively working that pedal in the brain and telling it, yes, I'm allowing more of this to come in and to be used as fuel, and let's get this going. I kind of went off on a tangent there too, but I got really excited about the car thing. So those are some ways that I stay creatively motivated, and I hope that they actually help you stay motivated. And if you've got any other tips, shoot them down below. Don't shoot them. Don't shoot anybody. So those are my tips for staying creatively motivated. I hope they helped you out today. And if you've got any other tips that are really cool or worth mentioning, drop them below, and I will see you on the next one, scribes.